Hello and welcome to Lantern Lane Stories. Tonight's story is The Llamas of the Inca Express. The sun had not yet kissed Cusco's stone walls when Maya woke. She lay listening to the quiet. Outside her window, the Andes Mountains rose like sleeping giants. Their peaks brushed the clouds. She pulled her alpaca wool blanket closer. It was soft and warm, softer than anything in the world. Maya dressed quickly in her red dress. Her mother's hands had woven every thread. Down the narrow stone stairs she went. The air smelled of wood smoke and fresh corn. Her grandmother waited in the plaza, holding 2 bowls of quinoa soup. "Eat, pequeña," her grandmother said, smiling. "You will need strength." As they ate, the sun began to rise. Golden light touched the stone temples, and then Maya heard it, the sound of bells. Not church bells, smaller ones, sweeter. The llamas were coming. From the narrow street, they emerged like a procession. First came the handlers, men whose feet were sure on mountain stone. Behind them walked the llamas. Maybe 10 of them, their long necks held high, their ears perked forward. Maya had seen llamas before, but never like this. These were special. Their wool shone like cream and honey. Each one wore a bright woven cloth. Reds, yellows, blues, so vivid they held the sky inside. Bells of silver hung from leather straps. When the llamas walked, the bells chimed like water trickling over stones. "Come," said her grandmother, taking her hand. They approached the lead handler. A man carved like the mountains themselves? "Good morning, Quispy," said her grandmother in Quechua. He smiled at them both. Then he looked at Maya. "Your granddaughter? Yes. Today we show her the truth about our empire." Quispy nodded slowly. He gestured to the nearest llama, a cream-colored one with eyes like wet stones. This one is named Inti's Messenger. She has walked the mountain roads since she was young. Like you. The llama turned to look at Maya. Its breath made a small cloud in the cool air. Maya reached out slowly. The wool was thick and softer than sleep itself. "Llamas," said Quispy, "are not like horses or donkeys. They do not tire easily. Their wool keeps them warm at heights where the air is thin and cold, 3 times warmer than sheep's wool. Can you feel it?" Maya nodded. Her fingers sank into the coat. "Our people have raised them for," he paused, looking at the mountains, "more than 5,000 years. That is 5 times 1,000, so old that the mountains themselves remember." Quisp led them to a low stone building at the edge of the plaza. Inside, clay tablets and knotted cords hung on the walls. He pointed at the cords. "Quipis," they were called. "These are not words," he explained. "They are numbers, records, commands from the Sapa Inca laws, taxes, news." He picked up a small tablet carved with fine lines. "Imagine," said Quispy, "that the Sapa Inca sits here in Cusco. He rules an empire that stretches 2,400 kilometers, from the northern mountains to the southern deserts. So large that if you walked every single day, it would take weeks to cross." Maya tried to imagine this. Her mind grew dizzy. "How can such an empire stay together?" asked Quispy. "How can the Inca's commands reach the farthest villages? How can news travel so far?" Quisp smiled. "The llamas," he said, "and the runners." He walked to a map painted on the stone wall. It showed the long spine of the mountains. Tiny dots marked the station. Every few kilometers, there is a station. At each station sits a runner. A Chasqui, young men with strong legs. When a message arrives, the runner does not rest. He takes the quipu or the tablet and runs. He runs until his legs burn. He runs until the next station. There, another Chasqui is waiting. Fresh, ready. He takes the message and runs again. Maya watched his finger trace the mountain road. "The llamas," he continued, "carry the heavier things, the cloth for tribute, the grain for taxes, the tools, the herbs for medicine. One llama can carry what 5 men carry, and they are stubborn in a good way. They will not stumble on a narrow path. They know the mountains are their home. How long? Asked Maya. How long to carry a message across the whole empire? 2 weeks, said Quispe. Perhaps less if the message is urgent and the Chasquis run hard. Imagine the Sapa Inca writes a command here in Cusco. Before the moon changes shape, a village far away knows what to do. Maya thought about the moon changing shape that took so long, and yet 2 weeks seemed impossible. How could anything travel so far so fast? Without the llamas, said her grandmother quietly, this empire could not hold together. The 3 of them returned to the plaza. More llamas had arrived now. More handlers, more cords and cloth bundles. Quispe showed Maya how to inspect a llama's feet. See these pads? Hard but soft. They grip the stone without damage. Perfect for our roads. One of the other handlers gave her a small bundle, cloth folded and knotted with cord. This, he said, carries account of weaving from the valley villages. A tax. By next week, the temple in Cusco will know how much cloth the provinces have made. Maya held the bundle. It was light, but it felt heavy with purpose. She looked up at a gray llama with one ear slightly bent. What is this one's name? She asked. Kipu, said Quispe. He was born when the last frost came. He is strong. He has walked the northern road 15 times already. Kipu's ears turned toward Maya when he heard his name. You understand? Said Quispe. These animals are not simple cargo. They are the thread that holds the empire together. When you see a llama on the road, you are seeing the heartbeat of the Inca. You are seeing messages traveling. You're seeing the Sapa Inca's will reaching to the farthest mountains. As the sun climbed higher, the llamas were loaded. It took time. Each animal had to be checked. The cords had to be tight, but not too tight. Routes were drawn out in sand by the handlers. Messages were reviewed. Maya stood with her grandmother, watching it all. Will I see them again? She asked. Some of them, perhaps, said her grandmother. Kipu comes back to Cusco every other month. But others, they spend their whole lives on the high roads, carrying the will of the empire from one end to the other. The sun was bright now, warm on the stones, but high above, Maya could still see the mountains' snow-covered peaks. Quispe came to them one last time. Watch, he said. He raised his hand. The handlers lifted the lead ropes. The llamas, knowing their road, began to move, first slowly, then with purpose. The bells chimed. The cords that held the messages shifted softly. 12 llamas and 4 runners began to walk toward the narrow street, the street that led up into the mountains. At the edge of the plaza, Kipu paused. He turned his head just slightly and looked back. His eye caught the sun. For a moment he seemed to glow. Then he turned and went. Maya watched until they disappeared into the curve of the street. She could hear the bells for a long time, growing fainter, fainter still, then nothing but the wind in the stone city. As evening came, Maya and her grandmother walked home through the twisting streets. The city was cooling, smoke rose from cooking fires. The smell of quinoa and chili peppers filled the air. Maya's feet were tired. Her mind was full of images. The color of the cloths, the soft wool, the silver bells, the runner's strong legs, the maps on stone, showing an empire so vast. She thought about Kipu. Right now, he would be climbing higher. Where the air grew thin and cold, the handler beside him would be running, his breath coming hard, his legs still strong. And the message he carried would be one step closer to its destination. In Cusco, there would always be llamas ready. Always runners waiting. Always the empire, held together by steady hooves on stone and feet on dust. Her grandmother helped her up the stairs to their room. Maya was so tired, so peacefully tired. Will I ever go on the high roads? She asked. Perhaps, said her grandmother. If your legs are strong and your heart is brave, for now, sleep. Rest like the mountains rest. Dream like the llamas dream of their mountain home. Maya wrapped herself in her alpaca wool blanket. It was soft, the softest thing in the world. Outside, the last light was leaving the sky. The stars were beginning to show. Somewhere up there on the high roads, Kipu was still walking. The message was still traveling. The empire was still holding together, one step at a time, one bell chime at a time. And so Cusco also slowly fell asleep. Good night.